Discover the amazing life-changing reasons behind your heartwarming journey revealed in 7 steps. In the quaint charm of a small Midwestern town, where every face felt like family, Lily was a beacon of strength. At 34, her life was a tapestry woven with tough threads every day. She fought tooth and nail to keep her family's diner alive. The Whispering Pines Diner wasn't just a place to grab a bite, it was the heart of the town, a sanctuary for stories, comfort and connection. With every pancake flipped and every cup of coffee poured, she infused her love and determination into the thin walls, cementing a legacy built by her parents decades ago. Yet, beneath her warm smiles, she battled sleepless nights wondering how she'd pay the bills, and if of her dreams for Jamie and Emily would ever materialize. One cloudy Tuesday morning, the air crackled with tension. News broke a corporate chain wanted to buy her beloved diner, promising an impersonal world of formulaic meals, squeezing out the local color that had nurtured generations. Lily felt her heart drop at the thought. The diner was more than a business, it was the lifeblood of the community. As she polished the counter with fervor, she glanced at her children's bright faces across the diner. They deserved better than the looming shadow of corporate greed. "I won't let this happen," she vowed under her breath, determination pooling in her chest, but just as she rallied her customers risking everything to stand against the corporate tide, her phone rang with an earth-shattering tremor. The caller ID flashed "Dad." Lily's heart pounded as memories flooded back. Her estranged father, a Vietnam veteran, who had left them years ago, now wanted to reconnect. With a mix of anger and longing, she hesitated, unsure if she could ever forgive him. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Moments later, the skies unleashed a storm unlike any other. The wind howled like a banshee, tearing down roofs and uprooting trees, leaving a path of devastation in its wake. In Lily's town, her friends and neighbors were reeling from loss. She could see the numbness in their eyes reflecting what her own heart felt. The diner transformed into a refuge, buzzing with activity as the community banded together, sharing supplies, laughter, and tears. Suddenly, hope surged through her veins. The struggles they all shared knitted them closer, revealing the strength that lay hidden beneath years of hardship. As she stood in her diner, watching the neighborhood come to life with shared resilience, Lily felt a flicker of something new. It was more than just a fight for survival, it was a fight for each other. As the council meeting loomed closer, her father approached her, sincere yet hesitant, offering an olive branch. Lily's heart clenched, her past colliding with the present. Could she forgive him? Could she stand up for her family, her business, her community, not just against corporate giants, but also against the ghosts of her family's history? With hope and fear intertwined, she faced a crossroads. Everything was about to change in ways she could never have imagined, not just for her, but for the proud town of Whispering Pines. Would she find the strength to reconcile with her father and be the courageous voice for her community? The answer was just around the corner, but first, she had to summon every ounce of bravery she had. The storm had passed, but its remnants lingered in the air, a heavy reminder of the chaos that had unfolded. Debris littered the streets like scattered memories. Lily stepped outside, taking a deep breath. The scent of fresh rain mingled with the earthy aroma of overturned soil. It was a bittersweet moment, both grim and oddly hopeful. By noon, the diner was alive with conversations. Neighbors spilled in and out, sharing tales of what they had lost and what they still had. The clinking of forks against plates echoed like a comforting symphony, forging connections amidst the wreckage. Lily moved seamlessly through the familiar faces. She poured coffee, offered encouragement, and truly listened to their fears and hopes. "All this, it's like we're rebuilding from scratch," she said, speaking to Mrs. Jensen, a kind-hearted woman battling her own losses. But together, we can make it stronger. Mrs. Jensen smiled, a flicker of inspiration in her eyes. It's always been about the people, Lily. We are the heart, not the building. Lily felt a surge of warmth. This was why she loved this diner. It was a place that held so much more than just meals, it was where bonds were forged, and love was served daily. But as she caught sight of her father entering the diner, her heart thudded painfully against her ribcage. The room seemed to hush, and all eyes turned to him, a specter from her past trying to reclaim a place in her present. "Hey, Lily." His voice was low, tentative. He took a step forward, hands raised as if to shield himself against her reaction. The silence was palpable. "I know it's been years, but I want to talk." She froze, a tempest of emotions whirling within her. Anger, confusion, a flicker of longing. Now. Here. She could hardly fathom how to respond. This was not how she imagined their reunion or if they could even have one. "I know I've hurt you, and I'm deeply sorry," he continued, sincerity etched across his face. "But what happened today, it made me realize I want to try and mend what's broken between us." Lily's hands trembled slightly as she placed a cup down. She searched his face, looking for signs of the man who had ghosted their lives, wondering if he truly grasped the pain his absence had caused. The room buzzed with anticipation, the diner itself holding its breath. "Why now?" she finally asked, forcing the words through a clenched throat. "After all these years?" He sighed, his shoulders sagging under the weight of regret. "I've watched from a distance, and today I felt something I haven't felt in so long. Community. Family. I lost it once, and I want to lose it again." The room was still, and all around them, the community of whispering pines seemed to lean in, awaiting her response. The weight of Lily's decision pressed against her like the storm that had just passed. Memories swirled her childhood, the pain of abandonment, her mother's tears. But on the other side of that pain was the hope of reconciliation. Taking a deep breath, she met his gaze, determination sparking within her. "Rebuilding takes time, Dad. I don't know if I'm ready." Just then, the door swung open, and Mayor Edwards walked in, looking frantic. "Lily. We need you at the council meeting now. They're making decisions that could affect the diner." Time stood still. Lily's heart raced. She was at a crossroads, with her father's uncertain hand reaching out for her and her community needing her strength more than ever. Would she stand up for her diner and the town that shaped her? Or would she take a step towards reconciliation with the man who left her? She took a step back, torn. What lay ahead was unclear but felt monumental. The moment was coming. The stakes were high. Would she have the strength to face both her past and her future? Lily stood at the brink of the diner, her father's words still hanging heavily in the air. She felt the churning in her stomach, emotions coiling tightly. For years, their silence echoed louder than words ever could, and now here he was, asking for a second chance in the very place that represented so much of her pain, yet also her healing. "Lily." Mayor Edwards' voice pulled her back, urgency and desperation etched on his face. "We don't have time. The council's ready to vote, and you need to be the voice for your dad's diner." She hesitated, looking from the mayor to her father and then around at the people who filled the diner. Families sat at the booths, laughter and chatter enveloping them, their lives intertwined with the place she had fought so hard to keep alive. But at what cost? She stammered, wrestling with the fear that tightened its grip around her. The past weighed on her like heavy boots, and all she wanted was to be free. "I need to think." "Lily, listen," her father said, stepping closer, so close she could see the wrinkles around his eyes, evidence of a man who had lived a life of regret. "Please don't let this moment slip away just because it's uncomfortable." "We were once, that was a lifetime ago," she interrupted, more fiercely than she intended. The pain seeped through her voice, and with each word, the room seemed to shuffle under the weight of her honesty. As she looked deeper into her father's eyes, she could see the flicker of hope reflected back. But it felt so distant, like an unreachable star. In that moment, it felt as if the diner itself was urging her to choose. It was an anchor of her past, yet a beacon of hope. "I've got to go," she finally said, her heart even more heavy than before. "I can't lose this diner. Lily." He reached out again, but she turned away, stepping back into the bright light of the day outside. The air felt different, charged with the energy of possibility. Swiftly, she made her way to the town hall, her mind racing. Would they truly understand the cost of what they were about to decide? The diner wasn't just wood and brick, it was a foundation of memories, laughter, tears, and resilience. As she burst through the town hall doors, the sight of the council chamber meeting took her breath away. On one side, town officials sat at their long table, looking serious and slightly weary. On the other, residents stood shoulder to shoulder, their faces set with determination. It was a mix of old friends and new faces, all brought together by their love for Whispering Pines. "Lily!" called out a voice from the crowd. It was Mrs. Jensen again, her small figure barely rising above the rest. "We need you to fight for us." The words echoed like a battle cry. Lily felt the fire inside her ignite. This was her moment, not just for the diner, but for her community. "Thank you," she said, her voice gaining strength as it carried through the chamber. "But I can't do this alone. This diner is the heart of Whispering Pines, and if we lose it..." She paused, looking into the faces of those she cared for. "We lose a part of ourselves." The room buzzed, and discussions erupted. For a fleeting moment, they were all in sync, united. But as she stood there, facing the deliberation about to take place, she couldn't shake the feeling of her father's presence tethering her heart. Could she choose both? Reclaim her past and fight for her community? The challenge felt impossibly daunting, yet the potential for love and strength flickered before her. Lily inhaled deeply, feeling the power pulse through her veins. The decision she made today would reshape her future. But would it be enough to bridge the gap with the man she once called Dad? As tensions rose, the mayor called for a vote, but a storm was brewing inside her heart once again. What was she willing to sacrifice for connection and hope? Would she take the stand her community needed and continue forging a new path with the man who had once broken her heart? The gavel fell, and she could feel the moment of truth approaching. The echo of the gavel reminded Lily of a dam about to burst. She could feel the weight of decision pressing down, the air thick with anticipation. Around her, the room was a swirl of emotions: hope, fear, determination, each face reflecting the stakes of the moment. "Lily!" Mayor Edwards called out again, breaking through her reverie. "We need your voice." Her mouth felt dry as she stepped forward. The council members were watching her intently. In this moment, it was more than just about the diner. It was about her father, their strained relationship, and the healing possibility that lay before them. "Everyone," she started, her voice trembling but rising in volume. "We all know what this diner means to us. It's more than just a place to grab a bite, it's where we celebrated victories, comforted each other in tough times, and built friendships. This is the heart of Whispering Pines." A ripple of murmurs traveled through the crowd, voices mixing into a single swell of encouragement. Lily felt the pulse of the town, and it motivated her further. "But it's not just about what it has been," she continued, her heart pounding. "It's about what it can still be. If we lose this diner, we lose the spirit of our community. And if I'm going to fight for it, I need to do it alongside my family, even those that have hurt me." Soft gasps rippled through the crowd. She glanced to her father, standing at the back of the room, shoulders hunched but eyes wide with a mixture of fear and hope. Could he understand that she was opening a door, not just for herself but for both of them? The mayor interjected, and Lily turned back, eyes blazing. "I know the past hurts. I know that some of us are estranged from each other. But let this diner be a place of healing. Let us reclaim what we've lost." The emotions felt raw. She didn't just want to keep the diner, it was her chance to reclaim her narrative, to pave a path forward. This resonated with the crowd as whispers of agreement broke out. Mrs. Jensen nodded fervently. Lily's right. This diner is a piece of us all. The council members exchanged glances, the seriousness of the moment settling in. It wasn't just a vote anymore, it was a crossroads. The decision could either forge a way for reconciliation or solidify the divides that had torn them apart. Lily could see more people beginning to move closer, leaning in, hands clasped, encouraging each other silently. The energy was palpable, igniting a spark. But as the council began to deliberate, doubt crept in. What if it was too late for her father and her? Would he really change? And more importantly, could she open her heart again after everything that had happened? As they began to speak about specifics, numbers, logistics, her mind wandered back to her father. Would he truly support her, or was he simply looking to rekindle a past that had long turned cold? Lily, Mrs. Jensen's gentle voice brought her back. You can do this. You've got the town behind you. Could she muster the strength to face both her father and the council? The tension in the room had shifted into something hopeful, yet it wasn't enough to drown out the deep-seated fear gnawing at her heart. The mayor cleared his throat, signaling the impending end of their decision-making. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak before we vote? Lily's moment had come. The words bubbled up through the fear, and she stepped forward again, taking a deep breath. She needed to say it to confront not only the council but her father, too. Wait. Before we vote, I have something important to say. The room stilled, all eyes turned to her, waiting for her revelation. Would it open the door to understanding, or slam it shut once again? With her heart racing and the weight of all their futures on her shoulders, she began to speak. I know it's hard to speak about the past, Lily began, trying to catch her breath. But if we want a future, we have to confront it. My father and I, we've been through so much. Too much silence. Too many misunderstandings. She glanced over at her dad. His face was a mask of concern, as if every word she spoke was carving deep grooves into his heart. This was not just about the diner. This was about them, about their relationship. The idea of rebuilding felt daunting yet necessary. Dad, I know you wanted what was best for me. And maybe I never understood how much you were hurting too. The crowd shifted, some people wiping tears, while others leaned closer, as if each word was a lifeline. I've been scared to open up, to forgive, she admitted, her voice cracking slightly. But this diner, our diner, it's a chance for us to start fresh. Not just as a business, but as a family. We can reconnect. I want you to be a part of that. Her heart raced, hoping to convey all the hope she felt. A heavy silence fell over the room, almost too thick to breathe through. The council members exchanged uncertain glances, weighed down by the emotion. Lily, her father's voice broke through, hesitant. I never meant to push you away. Life, it's complicated, and I didn't know how to talk to you. His words hung in the air, fragile and raw. You don't have to do it alone anymore, Dad. Let us be a team, just like we used to. She spoke with as much conviction as she could muster. Let us make this diner a true reflection of a community that stands together. A place where we can share the good and the bad, the laughter and tears. In that moment, the room filled with nods and murmurs of agreement. People were beginning to rise, feeling the shift. The possibility of healing was palpable. Perhaps it is time for all of us to let go of past hurts, Mayor Edwards added, his tone serious yet compassionate. If the diner is saved, it can become a bridge and opportunity for conversations, understanding, and rebuilding. A wave of quiet optimism swept through the crowd. They all shared the same desire for healing, both in their own lives and in their community. As a voice began to echo, a woman in the back called out, "Let us show support. Let us share our stories and revive the diner." Cheers and applause erupted, lifting the weight in the room. This wasn't merely a gathering for a vote anymore. It was a collective exhale, a ray of hope, a promise that they wouldn't stand for division any longer, but as Lily took a step back, gratitude swelling in her chest, doubt still flickered in her mind. Could her father truly open his heart again? Would they be able to bridge the gaps, or was she setting herself up for another disappointment? The council's vote loomed ahead. Everything felt more fragile than ever, balancing on the edge of their heartfelt declarations. "Let us move forward with the vote, shall we?" Mayor Edwards said, bringing everyone's focus back to the matter at hand. Lily felt her pulse quicken, an urgency filling her. What if their decision didn't reflect the moment she felt building? She clasped her hands tightly, waiting for the council's verdict. But before the mayor could call the vote, another voice piped up, an unexpected one that sent a ripple of tension through the crowd. "What about my vote? How can I place my trust in this, if I can't trust the very people involved?" Lily's heart sank. The familiar fear of disappointment loomed over her once more. Just as hope was igniting, new shadows emerged. Who spoke those words? What did it mean for the diner and her father's resolve? As the faces around her shifted, Lily realized that the real battle might just be beginning. The murmurs rippled through the crowd, a blend of disbelief and unease. Lily's eyes darted across the room, searching for the source of that wavering voice. It was Tom, a local businessman whose stores had always prospered, yet that prosperity came with an arrogance that made him polarizing within the community. He stood near the back, arms crossed and his eyes fixed on Lily's father, as if he held the keys to a decision that would make or break everything. "Tom, please," Lily said, her voice steady despite the storm roiling inside her. "This isn't just about trust. It's about healing. It's about moving on." But Tom wasn't ready to let go. "You ask for trust when you haven't even proven yourselves. You." He pointed at Lily's father. "You threw away your chance to be a part of this community. How can we believe this diner will be different?" The room turned heavy with his accusation. Eyes turned toward Lily's dad, and for a moment, it felt like all those years of silence were crashing down in one defining moment. Her father took a deep, shaky breath. "I know I haven't been an easy person to get along with. But I want to try. I want us to come together." His voice trembled slightly, but it carried a weight that silenced the naysayers, if only for an instant. Lily swallowed hard, willing her father's honesty to break through the walls separating Tom and the community. "This diner isn't just our dream. It's yours, too. It's a chance for all of us to share laughter and meals, to remember what it means to care for one another." Tom scoffed, his expression hard. "Words don't mean much in this town anymore. Prove that you can actually change." Lily's heart raced. How could she convince him, and everyone else, that this time would be different? She felt the weight of everyone's eyes, wondering if her dreams were going to collapse under scrutiny. "Let us test it." A woman in the crowd, Claire, spoke up, her voice strong and unwavering. "Let them open the diner as a community space first. We'll get to know them, see if they really mean it. If they can foster goodwill, then we can vote." A thoughtful murmur brushed through the crowd. It was a reasonable compromise, one that could allow them to gauge both Lily and her father's commitment to change. Tom crossed his arms tighter, as if preparing for a conflict, but he didn't immediately reject the idea. "Fine. Start with this community space thing," he said reluctantly. "But I promise, I will be watching." A sense of relief washed over Lily, but it was mixed with the familiar tendrils of anxiety. "Yes. This can work. We can hold meetings, potlucks, storytelling nights." Her heartbeat matched the excitement building in the crowd. Mayor Edwards cleared his throat. "If the council agrees, we'll establish an interim committee to oversee this initiative. It can foster trust while giving everyone the space to connect." Nods of agreement spread through the gathering, and even Tom looked slightly less stone-faced. As the mayor began to lay out the formation of the committee, Lily's hope ignited, but it was tempered by uncertainty. How long would it take to prove themselves? Could they really change hearts and minds in a matter of weeks? Only time would tell if this community would embrace the course adjustment, but as she shared a glance with her father, a signal of solidarity, doubt lingered in the air. Their journey was only just beginning, and the stakes felt higher than ever. Just then, a voice rang out from the back. And what if the community doesn't trust this diner's new vision? What if? Lily's heart pounded. She turned, already bracing for answers she didn't yet have. The real challenge of rebuilding trust had only just begun. The room held its breath as the question lingered. Lily felt her stomach twist with anxiety. She could see the uncertainty in the eyes of her neighbors, the people she'd known all her life. Their faces were lined with years of doubt and hurt. She stepped forward, wanting to pull them back from that cliff they were teetering on. Trust is not something given freely, she spoke with a newfound strength. We understand it's earned through actions, not just promises. We want to show you that we're ready to work for your belief in us. Tom remained impassive, his arms like iron bands around him. Yet even as his gaze stayed steady, Lily noticed something flicker across his face, a glimmer of curiosity, perhaps. Let us show you our vision, she continued, feeling the fire ignite inside her. We can create a space for talking over coffee, for sharing stories. A place where we learn from each other. Claire nodded in agreement, her enthusiasm infectious. Yes. Let us turn this into a real community project. If we succeed, maybe we all stand to gain. The crowd murmured in consideration, and for a moment, the tension cracked slightly. But then Tom spoke again, slicing through the tentative hope. What happens when you open your doors but your intentions fade? When the shine of a new venture wears off? Lily's heart beat louder. Was he testing her resilience, or merely exposing his own fears? This is not a temporary project for us, she replied, gentle yet firm. We've committed to this community. I want my father and me to be here for the long haul. We don't expect trust immediately, but we hope to earn it gradually. Tom's gaze shifted, revealing a hint of vulnerability. The crowd, too, seemed to lean in, catching every word. Mayor Edwards seized the moment. This is a chance, folks. An opportunity for all of us, if we choose to take it. Let us give them a fair chance to prove their intentions. Lily felt a wave of emotion wash over her. She turned to her father, who nodded in supportive solidarity. Yet, doubt gnawed at her as she scanned the crowd. Would their hopes deflate before they even took flight? Suddenly, an elder man in front raised his hand. I've seen businesses open and close. Promises made and broken. I want to believe in this, I truly do. His words struck a chord, resonating with everyone else. But how do we know these aren't just words meant to appease us? With every questioning voice, the weight of her mission settled more heavily on her shoulders. We can start small. One event at a time. If we fail at any point, you can hold us accountable, she said, daring to hope. What about an opening potluck? Everyone brings their favorite dish, and we share stories mixed with laughter. There were whispers of approval, but also doubt. She could see Tom contemplating this proposal, his brow furrowed. Finally, he broke his silence. Okay. One potluck. But if it turns into a failure, you'll regret ever trying. Lily's heart danced with hope and fear. This was their moment. Then we'll work to make it unforgettable. Let us make sure this community sees us as more than just our past. As the crowd began to buzz with potential excitement, Lily felt the undercurrents of her own vulnerability. Would a simple potluck really be enough to transform hearts? Just then, a shadow flitted through the corner of her eye. To her surprise, it was Sarah, her childhood friend, looking uncertain and distant. But if this isn't just trust building, what happens when the past catches up with all of us? Plunged back into uncertainty, Lily's pulse quickened. The true test of their resolve hadn't even begun. Lily's breath hitched at Sarah's words. They cut deep, a reminder of all the shadows that lingered unspoken. Her heart raced, urgency thrumming through her veins. The community had to see past the fears that held them captive. "Sarah," she began, her voice calm despite the storm inside. "I understand we all have that past lingering over us. But what if this potluck can be the spark to change it? To write a new story?" The crowd leaned closer, drawn into the intimacy of her plea. Sarah's gaze softened, but hesitation still danced in her eyes. "It's a lot to risk, Lily. We're not just fighting for trust, we're fighting against history." "True," Lily conceded, the weight of her own family's past pressing on her. "But isn't that why we need this? To create a new history together?" Mayor Edwards jumped in, sensing the collective tension. "Each of us has a story, good or bad. Let us bring those stories to the table. We can show our children that change is possible." Tom's expression flickered with annoyance at the mayor's words. Still, he remained silent, contemplating. Lily decided to keep pushing, keeping her voice steady. "If you worry about us fading away, then let's make this potluck unforgettable. Let us put our hands in the dirt together and plant seeds, literal seeds and metaphorical ones." She could feel the hope begin to resonate through the crowd. Some started to nod, the spark of excitement beginning to catch. "Who's in for sharing a dish?" Claire called, her voice lifting spirits. "Let us have a theme. Maybe best childhood recipe or family traditions. It'll be fun." The ice began to melt. Someone from the back shouted about their grandmother's famous casserole, followed by laughter as another chimed in about her infamous burnt pie. Slowly, the idea transformed. People began to chatter, excitement igniting in the air. Lily felt her own spirits lifting, each voice a note in a growing melody. But in the corner, Lily still saw Sarah's worried expression. "What if it doesn't go as we hope?" She whispered, her voice barely audible above the rising conversations. Lily stepped closer to her friend, her heart pounding with empathy. "If it doesn't, we'll learn. We owe it to ourselves to find out together. We can't hide from our past anymore." Finally, Tom broke the uneasy silence taking root in the air again. "If we're going to do this, let us do it right. I'll bring Grandma's famous brisket, but the rest of you better step up." He offered a half smile, and a few chuckles erupted in response. The collective mood shifted, confusion no longer lingering so heavily. For the first time, warmth began to weave through the gathering. "Great!" a woman exclaimed, her laughter infectious. "And I'll bring desserts. Nothing beats my apple pie unless you're counting on Tom's brisket." Lily smiled, her heart swelling with a cautious hope. Could this really be the start of something beautiful? As plans started swirling in the air, Lily felt an unexpected wave of excitement and trepidation. She looked around the room, noticing the glimmers of hope reawakening in the eyes of her neighbors. But the question remained, would the past truly stay buried, or would it rear its head at the worst moment? The crowd dispersed with a shared purpose, confident laughter mixed with nervous energy filled the air. But as Lily turned to her father, ready to share in this new endeavor, she noticed a packaged envelope resting on the table where Tom had stood. Her chest tightened. What could it mean? With her heart racing, she approached the table. The anticipation was thick, she could already feel the pangs of worry tightening her gut. What could be hidden inside this mysterious envelope? Is this something that could challenge everything they've just begun to build? Lily's fingers trembled as she reached for the envelope. It was slightly crumpled, a few smudged fingerprints marking its surface. Her heart raced. This was no simple letter. The essence of fear and curiosity danced in her chest, mingling with the warmth of the gathering outside. With a deep breath, she tore it open, the sound surprisingly loud in the now quiet room. Inside was a single sheet of paper, crisply folded. She unfolded it slowly, her eyes scanning the words, "Dear community, recent events have sparked concern among us. The past isn't as buried as it appears. Secrets linger, and I believe now is the time to confront them. Our potluck is a lovely idea, but be prepared. History has a way of resurfacing. Sincerely, a friend. Lily's stomach dropped. The words felt like a punch, each one hitting her with the weight of 1,000 burdens. Anxiety buzzed through her. Who had sent this? Who would want to disrupt the fragile hope they had just started to cultivate? She stepped back, clutching the paper tightly, feeling a wave of heat sweep across her face. The room began to spin slightly as her mind filled with faces and doubts. Would Sarah back out? Would Tom? She had envisioned joy, connection, and healing, but this letter threatened to unravel it all. Glancing around, Lily searched for anyone who could help make sense of the letter. Catching Sarah's eye, she felt a fresh wave of emotion. Was she ready to share this? The delicate thread of their plan could easily snap under the pressure of fear. But before she could decide, a voice cut through the air. What's wrong? It was Claire, her brow furrowed with concern. Lily swallowed hard, her throat dry. It's this. Someone sent this letter. She held it out, the words now feeling heavier in her hands. Claire stepped closer, taking it gently. As she read, her expression shifted from concern to something resembling shock. This doesn't make any sense. Are they trying to ruin everything we just built? I don't know. Lily's voice wavered. But it makes me wonder if we're really ready to face whatever's out there. If the past is coming back, is there anything we can do to stop it? A hush fell over the room, the joyful buzz transitioning to stillness. One by one, neighbors approached, curiosity replacing excitement. Whispers filled the air. What's going on? What's in the letter? Panic danced in her heart, but Lily sensed strength in sharing, too. We have a choice, she said, her voice raising above the murmurs. We can either let fear dictate our lives, or we can face whatever is thrown at us. A moment of silence passed, heavy with tension. And then, slowly, Tom stepped forward, taking a deep breath. I believe in our community. We can't let this letter ruin what we have right now. Most of us have faced worse than a letter. We need clarity over confusion. His words resonated deeply. This wasn't just about the potluck anymore, it was about resilience, togetherness, and confronting the shadows head-on. As acceptance began to settle over the crowd, Lily's heart steadied. Maybe they could make a difference. Maybe they could address both past and future together. But just as hope rekindled, a shadow loomed over the doorway. A figure stepped inside, a stranger who bore an air of familiarity that sent chills crawling up her spine. Lily's grip on the letter tightened. Was this unexpected visitor part of the letter's warning? And what role would they play in this gathering she had fought so hard to protect? As the figure paused, scanning the crowd, Lily felt the urgency pulse again. Was the community ready to face the truths that may be revealed, or would they retreat into the safety of their fears once more? The door creaked open wider, and the stranger stepped fully into the diner, bringing with them a chill that cut through the warmth of the gathering. The silence deepened as all eyes turned in unison. Lily's heart pounded, and she felt the color drain from her face. This was the moment of reckoning she had feared. The stranger was a tall figure, wrapped in a weathered trench coat, their face partially obscured by a wide-brimmed hat. As they pushed back the brim, recognition washed over Lily, sending a wave of unease coursing through her. It was Mark, her father's old friend, a man she remembered from childhood but had not seen in years. He was synonymous with troubled memories, whispers of a past that threatened to resurface. Mark's presence echoed like a ghost in the diner, the air around him charged with secrets long buried. He scanned the room, his expression unreadable, before finally settling his gaze on Lily, locking her in a stare that felt heavy with unspoken words. Lily, he began, his voice surprisingly steady. I need to talk to you and the community. His eyes shifted towards the residents, a mixture of concern and pleading brewing within them. There are things that need to be said before you gather for your potluck. An electric hush enveloped the diner. Gossip circled through the crowd like wildfire, uncertainty gnawing at their collective spirit. Who was this man, and what did he know? What hidden truths did he bring with him? with trembling hands, Lily stepped forward, forcing herself to look Mark in the eye. "What do you mean, Mark? What do you want to say?" He sighed, seeming to weigh every word before speaking. "I've heard the whispers around town. The diner, it's a good plan, but there are ties to the past that you all need to confront. And some of those ties are tied to me and your father." Her father? The murmurings within the crowd intensified, a swell of anxiety rising. "What are you saying?" Lily pressed. "Please, just tell me." Mark hesitated, his demeanor shifting as new emotions overcame him: regret, sorrow. "I was there that night. The last time your family was whole, and I was part of the reason for your father's departure." Lily's heart raced. "What do you mean?" Mark confessed to the mistakes of his youth, revealing secrets long thought buried by time. "I was involved in a rebellion back then, one that led to him having conflicts he never resolved with your family. He made choices to protect you, but they scarred him. Scarred us." The truth fell like an anchor in the room, weighing everyone down. Lily felt like the ground had shifted beneath her. Anger, confusion, and a strange sense of understanding flooded her. "You're saying my father left us because of you?" Mark nodded, regret heavy in his voice. "Not because he wanted to, but because he felt he had to. It was complicated, and I don't expect forgiveness, but I came back hoping that by facing the past, we could start to clear the air." Lily looked around the room. She was no longer just facing Mark but the community that had rallied around her. Memories of laughter over coffee and heartfelt conversations buzzed through her head. They'd built something together, hadn't they? Each person represented a piece of her heart, both old and new. "Mark," she began, her own voice shaking, "if your past connects with mine, then maybe we have a chance to rewrite our stories. But it won't be easy. We can't bury the truth any longer." Facing her father, who had been standing silently by the wall, she felt him holding his breath, caught between the revelations of the past and the hope for the future. "Dad," she called softly. "You're not alone in this. We'll figure it out together." Her father took a tentative step forward, eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I've spent so long running from what I didn't understand. This is my chance to finally face it." Mark looked between them, a hint of gratitude on his face. "Then let us start now. Before the potluck, before another day passes by filled with unresolved pain." Lily nodded, emboldened by their willingness to confront what lay ahead. This was her moment, the moment she realized she could guide not only her family but her entire community into a new chapter of unity and understanding. She turned her gaze back to the townspeople, igniting a flicker of hope lighting their faces. "We are ready," she declared, fueled by the shared courage that pulsed through the diner. "We can create a space where we talk about our past. Where we share our stories." Excitement began to ripple through the crowd, voices mixing with laughter and reassurance. The diner, the heart of Whispering Pines, would hold the promise of healing. The shadows of the past would not diminish, but by confronting them together, they could learn to coexist with understanding. As they planned their gathering, Lily could feel the threads of connection forming anew. With each step, she could see glimpses of old wounds beginning to heal, sparks of empathy igniting. And somewhere deep inside her, she felt a whisper of strength, of belonging, of a future that filled her heart with warmth. The diner would stand strong, not just as a building, but as a symbol of resilience for every soul within it. This was a community ready to embrace the future, one potluck and one heartfelt moment at a time. Now that the journey has come full circle, it's your turn to answer the call. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, because every click helps us grow. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending to share your thoughts with us. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this powerful transformation. You need to subscribe now, it's the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share these heartfelt stories.